Morning, everyone. We had speaker from Coursera, and I was sharing with him that my encounter with Coursera was as early as 2013, when I was interacting with one of the founders, Daphne Collar. And in one of the conferences, he said that online teaching will almost replace face-to-face teaching. And one of the vice chancellors, I remember, said, "Madam, you just can't replace face-to-face teaching." And what she said, it's still etched in my memory 10 years later. And she said, distance learning starts from the second row in the classroom. And everybody was silent. There was absolutely no answer. And yes, it did prove correct during the COVID. Post-COVID, we opened the campuses. First examination was held face-to-face. Results went down to 50%. Now, I don't say that there was something lacking in the learning during online teaching learning. Maybe there's something faulty with our examination system. We were forced to look at that. All the four issues raised for this particular session, I'll deal more in an anecdotal way and present some of the case studies which we have implemented. Yes, there has been a change in the demand of all the stakeholders. Particularly, a huge demand has been placed on the innovation system of the country. And in COVID, we delivered. And I hope that we keep delivering all through. And one thing is for sure that due to these change in demands, we need to work towards finding solutions to the problems. And that becomes the major issue in education, particularly higher education. Online contents did help us. But it has been a mixed kind of experience, whether it's only consumption or the absorption of knowledge. I would say both yes and no. It purely depends on how do we make use of the online contents. How do we blend it with other teaching learning activities. And of course, the cost is paid not for the contents, but what comes alongside. I'll give an example. We have been working with LinkedIn. And we had 50,000 licenses, depending on the number of students. And we had just one license for which we paid almost 99% of the cost. That was analytics part of it. But I wonder if the analytics had not been there, it was absolutely of no use. We can, in any case, access those courses online almost free of cost. So I think the cost has to be paid in terms of what comes along. Coursera has tried, as he was mentioning, in terms of packaging the courses, in terms of designing the pathways, and making more sense out of online contents, and not only providing the contents. Considering the demand, considering the possibility of online, which has now been permitted up to 40% as far as regular education is concerned, I think one of the biggest challenges for all those online content providers would be, do they become members of the Academic Bank of Credits? Because unless the students are able to add that to the bank of credits, it will be of less value. Of course, they will learn. Of course, they'll acquire these skills. And the second issue is that we should not be targeting skills replacing education. So this conflict is still going on. We're trying to find a balance between the two and trying to integrate skills into the normal teaching learning process without compromising as far as the education is concerned. So what we did in the university, I'll tell you briefly and then finish and then take the questions if there are any. We are also implementing National Education Policy 2020, which had hands in glove with the COVID, it seems, because the acceptability of the teachers is highest ever. We never saw this kind of level of acceptability during the history of education as far as our country is concerned. We started a concept in the entire university, irrespective of the discipline, across 25,000 students, across 138 programs, undergraduate, postgraduate, and everywhere. And we call it project-centric learning, as simple as this. For the teachers who are attending and the students who are attending, project-centric learning is different from project-based learning. In project-based learning, you normally remain within the confines of a course, whereas in project-centric learning, project becomes centric to all the courses being taught or what you have studied earlier or what you would study in times to come during the remaining program. And this is three components mainly. One which focuses on the outcomes for the university. This is a group project. Students come from different disciplines, different programs, and not from the same program. Which means, if there are 5 students, they come from different disciplines, 5 of them. Somebody from engineering, somebody from humanities, management, design, architecture, and so on, and perhaps law and humanities. And they work on a common topic, which is very, very close to real life. And the outcomes could be either a patentable idea, 2, a startup consequent to the patent which you are granted, or even without patent being granted. And the minimum outcome will be a good quality paper, which is written in collaboration with the faculty. I'm not saying in the first semester you'll come out with a quality publication, but I'm sure at the end of 3rd or 4th year, 1 or 2 publications of good quality are bound to come. First year has been absolutely fascinating results. We could produce 172 publishable papers and 279 reports, which will lead to patentable ideas. We beta tested this in last 1 year, and this year onwards we have implemented across the board. The second component is work in lieu of courses. We have created something called Marketplace Experience Lab, where every student, irrespective of the discipline, will work on actual business. 2, 3 things we have done, and we'll keep on expanding this portfolio. For example, in engineering, after every 3, 4 classrooms, we have a company, software company and electronics-based company, where 4 hours students study and 4 hours they work in the company for which they get paid for. These are actual real-life projects. Just for illustration, I'll give an example. Our software developers are billed at $12 to $15 per hour in the Western and American markets. We said, we'll bill you at $10 to $11. Infrastructure we given free of cost. $2 to $3 will come to the students, and remaining $6 to $7 is the company's profit. It is taken off for all the engineering students. We have even used direct marketing concepts which students can use and earn their entire fees and perhaps go beyond and support the parents. And when they graduate, they walk out with 2 to 3 years of experience, and they stay ahead of their contemporaries. And of course, the third component is research internship. Right from the beginning, we give them a lot of reading and writing from diverse fields, including classics, novels, fiction, papers, articles, and they integrate, and it's a true example of implementing inter and transdisciplinarity, and we believe that the outcomes we've been able to attain in last 1 year during the testing phase are higher order learning outcomes, and there's absolutely no other way of doing this. And my final point is that this is accompanied with substantial evaluation and examination reforms, because no intervention will be meaningful unless you're able to assess and evaluate objectively. You will agree with me, time-bound examinations do not help you assess beyond application, and application also partly. Last 3 levels of outcomes will never be accessible through 10 examinations, and therefore, we have completely changed the assessment systems, and results are fascinating. We have produced 100 entrepreneurs till now in the history of 10 years of the university. We are not satisfied with hundreds. We want in thousands and millions. And we don't want to produce large entrepreneurs. We are happy producing solopreneurs who can become ancillaries to large corporations. And our objective is that we don't want a salary of maybe 1 million rupees. We want perhaps students earning only 2 to 3 millions and perhaps giving jobs to 2, 3 others. Rest, I'll take any questions you have. This is operational in university. I welcome any one of you to come and witness and talk to me offline. Thank you so much.